everyone, this is Anna Cummings, an intern for the CNY Lyme and Tick-Borne Disease Alliance, here today with Brian Leydet to kick off our Mythbuster Monday, and he's going to talk to us a little bit today about ticks and some common misinformation that could be spread in the age of information. So Brian, take it away.
Hi Anna, thanks for having me, and I hope everybody's tuning in and enjoying the weather and staying tick-free. So I'm here to talk about a couple myths that I've heard in my 14 years of studying ticks and tick-borne diseases. First, I'll talk a little bit about the tick and then a little bit about the disease. So one of the myths that I hear from a lot of people, or I hear as a misconception, are ticks are bugs, and ticks actually aren't bugs. They're not insects. Ticks are arachnids. They're closely related to spiders. You can tell this by looking at ticks because the nymphal and the adult stage, basically the teenager and the adult, have 8 legs, just like spiders, just like mites. Insects have 6 legs. So mosquitoes are insects. Ticks are more likely spiders or mites. The next thing, a misconception I hear, and this is something I've heard from my own mother, despite my expertise, is that ticks fall from trees. That's why you wear a hat, right? You don't want ticks falling from trees and getting on your head, because a lot of people do find ticks on their hair or on their neck, on their hairline. Well, sorry to say, ticks do not fall from trees. They do not jump. Ticks climb up small branches or little blades of grass and usually attach to your legs or your lower extremities. So if you find a tick on your hairline, it's had all that time to crawl up there and attach. So just be on the lookout when you're hiking. Take a look at your lower extremities and then take those ticks off before they have a time to climb up to your head. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the disease. Now, I'm not a physician, but I have been doing this a while, and I'm trained as an epidemiologist, so we know a lot about disease surveillance. One of the early manifestations of Lyme disease that's spread by the black-legged tick is commonly referred to as the Erythema Migraines, or people call it the bullseye rash. One misconception I hear a lot about is that, I didn't have a bullseye rash, or I didn't have a rash. Well, not everybody gets a rash. There's a lot of different estimates. Sometimes as low as 50% of patients will see rashes, as high as 90%. I usually say around 70% of people will have a rash. They may not notice it. It may go unnoticed. If it's on your head, if it's on your back, you may not see it. The other misconception is that it's a bullseye rash. Well, I have something to share here for the group. And this is a courtesy of the Bay Area Lyme Foundation. And they've done this really good infographic about the different types of rashes. You can see here the traditional bullseye rash with this central clearing. It looks like the target symbol. This is very uncommon. You will not see this type of rash. Less than 10% of people having the rash will have this bullseye rash. The more common rashes are what we call the homogeneous rashes, or just the complete filled in red or blue-red lesions. Now, the term erythema migrans actually means expanding red lesion. So I tell people that if you have a red rash after a tick bite, take a Sharpie, trace the edges of the rash, and if the next morning you wake up and that rash is bigger than that Sharpie circle, you have an erythema migrans. Who cares about the central clearing? That doesn't matter. That is an expanding red rash, and that is indicative of Lyme disease, especially here in the Northeast. So hopefully with those tips, I've cleared up some misconceptions, and I hope you've enjoyed this little thing, and we can get some of these myths busted about ticks and tick-borne diseases.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. I certainly will tell all my friends about that Sharpie trick. I think that's an excellent way to gauge the growth of the rash, especially during the summertime. And we hope you all tune in next week for the next session of Mythbuster Mondays. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.